Hello and welcome back to True Crime Guys podcast. I'm your host, Michael, and you know I got Andy here with me in the Frozen Chosen.
You did? Oh man, I don't have my good cowboy voice anymore.
Oh, you just
Damn
back to
it.
normal, Andy. You hacked it all up, Andy.
Damn it, now I'm back to this. This sucks.
Well, it's just what we have to deal with.
Aw.
We only have to deal with this this cold a little while longer, but this case today, it's not really a case, it's a few cases.
Ooh.
And they're all cold cases, no pun intended.
Ooh.
Actually, all the puns intended.
Very cold.
Yeah, it's very cold.
See,
like
I saw
negative 126 degrees Fahrenheit cold.
What the fuck?
Yeah, it's really cold.
We're going to Colorado again?
No, colder. Way
Ooh.
colder. We're going to Antarctica.
Oh, shit. We got penguins. Yay.
Yeah, we did.
Fat penguin that my fiance was obsessed with. God damn it. Everybody was obsessed with. Remember the giant penguin?
Oh, he was in Antarctica?
No, it was just all over social media. Pesto.
Oh
Pesto,
my God,
the giant
Pesto,
penguin.
the penguin. I do remember that vaguely.
That
Wow.
big ass penguin.
But yeah, so aside from penguins in Antarctica, there's apparently also a small population of people that is, ever rotating. Mostly research people.
Okay.
But, where there's people, there's crime.
Obviously.
Obviously, we can't just be there without crime.
I thought you were going to say like vampires or something.
And also they're isolated as shit.
Yeah, it's a very wasteland of a place there.
Yes, just Antarctica and the way they handle crime in general, which we'll talk about on this episode, is just weird.
Yeah.
It's very interesting. I went down rabbit hole with this.
I would wonder the jurisdiction kind of. It's not like you remember the True Detective season where they were in Alaska. And it's you kind of get that sense of like this like Arctic wasteland.
Yeah,
but then take it up a notch.
But
to
at least
just like
Alaska is America,
That's what I'm
right?
saying.
So we
It's
have
like-
clear laws here.
Yeah, then take it up a
Kinda.
notch to where it's just an entire country of frozen wasteland.
Continent, bro.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Just a huge landmass of just vacancy.
That's it. And research stations.
Yeah.
But before we get into it, guys, I got to remind you can catch these episodes early and ad-free on Patreon, patreon.com/truecrimeguys. It is the best way to support the show, and for just $3 a month, you can get access to all of these episodes early, ad-free, and with a bunch of bonus content. I think me and Andy talked about life and all kinds of shit for about 20 minutes today. We actually, our conversation started off a little silly, but we actually got into some real shit there.
I know, right?
Jeez, Andy.
Well,
Why
heart to
you're
heart.
bringing me heavy shit here on a Tuesday morning. But yeah, guys, that's patreon.com/truecrimeguys. But hey, if you can't support us on Patreon, no big deal. There's other shows here on the free platform for your listening pleasure, like Strange and Unexplained and Cryptic Soup with Thina and Kylie. New episodes of Cryptic Soup come out every single Wednesday. And make sure you give them a follow on Instagram as well, at Cryptic Soup Pod. Thina helps us out here at True Crime Guys Productions on social media, and she is a huge help. Guys, listen to they are very passionate about true crime. They do amazing research and great personalities. Give Thina and Kylie a listen. Again, that's Cryptic Soup, wherever you listen to podcasts. And, while you're on there checking them out, give us a follow on social media at True Crime Guys.
I think you should.
On the X, the Gram, the book, all the stuff. For all kinds of new true crime shenanigans, and so you can stay up to date on true crime news.
Why not, people? Why not?
Why not? But today, we are talking about the Frozen Chosen, Antarctica.
I like that name, the Frozen Chosen.
My dad used to always say that when it was cold, and it just stuck with me. It's one of my favorite things he said. I don't
Feels
know
like
why.
it feels like it should be like a very northern soccer team or something.
It probably is. My dad's from Detroit, so anyways, that's neither here nor there. But let's talk about Antarctica, okay? Despite its relatively low population, as we talked about, and mostly a rotating population, Antarctica has been host to some pretty serious crimes over the years, Andy. Of course, Antarctica, like I said, has never had a permanent population, and it's mostly made up of research stations, but those research stations have been there for over 100 years, most of them.
Okay.
Okay? We've been in Antarctica for a hot minute.
Yeah. I always have to remind myself of that there's not a native population there. Like, you think about like I said, Alaska and stuff, and like the northern parts of Canada, there was like a native population that lived there.
Yeah.
But then you get to Antarctica, and it's like I said,
Just penguins.
Penguins,
Just
fucking
penguins.
walruses and shit.
Nothing else can make it, bro. Polar bears, I guess.
Yeah.
But the thing with Antarctica is, in regards to humans, is that they're mostly researchers. And researchers, they don't tend to take a lot with them as far as like valuable belongings and whatnot. They really can't.
No.
So, theft and other petty crimes, they're really not that prevalent there. They're actually extremely rare.
Yeah, what would you steal? Someone's pictures from home?
Exactly. So when crime does happen, it's usually of a much higher caliber.
Yeah,
if you catch my drift.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have some bangers, so to speak.
Yeah, I
or some
believe that.
stabbers.
So,
But what happens to these people that commit these crimes? Right? It's not like you can charge them under the laws of Antarctica.
right, yeah.
Yeah.
depending on,
So it's like, So, although a few countries have claimed sovereignty over parts of Antarctica, it isn't governed in the same way as the rest of the world. There's no police force, no judiciary, no prisons, right?
Okay.
So, we created the Antarctic Treaty. And this was back in the 50s. 53 nations got together. It's a super long story. But basically, they agreed that criminals on the continent should be tried by their own country's laws and regulations. And today, we're taking a look at Antarctica's short but pretty interesting crime history.
That would I was thinking about that in my head, like how would you justify or how would you charge somebody? But that probably is the most logical thing. It's like whatever country of origin you come from,
Yep.
Those are the laws you have to abide by while you're there.
Exactly. And your country is responsible for prosecuting you and getting you out of Antarctica, all that stuff. So, like, there are sometimes, like you'll see today, there's one case in particular where a crime was committed, but the weather was so bad, they could not evacuate them. So they literally had to, like, put them in a church and just let them hang out there under guards.
Yeah. It's one of those things too. It's like, I would wonder what would happen if, like, a researcher from one nation commits a crime against a researcher from another nation. It's like, now it's like, whose laws are you going under? It's like, are you going to go under the victim's laws or the perpetrator's laws? So it's a weird little jurisdiction of laws that have to intermingle and have to be, free to access each other.
Exactly. All right, so I got a few cases today. So we'll cover the bases. We'll run the gamut on these cases, Andy. And I think what I'd like to do is, after we roll this intro, I'm going to give you the name of the case, right? Or what I named it. And then you tell me what you think happened.
Gotcha. All right, gotcha, yeah.
All right. So let's roll that intro and let's get into it.
Okay.
Look at me, I wrote a song about Antarctica. It wasn't easy to tell the truth, it was kinda hard to go. Don't get me wrong, there's a lot to love about Antarctica, but something about it drives us crazy. Right and wrong get a little hazy. Did you know in Antarctica you can axe a guy over a chess game? Did you know in Antarctica, if you get poisoned, it's just a shame? Did you know in Antarctica, you can lose it, straight crash out? If you wanna leave Antarctica, well, you can burn the whole place down. Look at me, I wrote a song about Antarctica. It wasn't easy to tell the truth, it was kinda hard to cut. Don't get me wrong, there's a lot to love about Antarctica, but something about it drives us crazy. Right and wrong get a little hazy. Look at me, I wrote a song about Antarctica. It wasn't easy to tell the truth, it was kinda hard to cut. Don't get me wrong, there's a lot to love about Antarctica, but something about it drives us crazy. When right and wrong get a little hazy. All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to kind of go backwards with these crimes in a way. I think a couple of them are out of order, but let's start with the most recent awful crime in Antarctica, okay? It's one that I like to call spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, spoiler alert. Let me see.
So what do you think happened here, Andy?
I'm going to say, well, my first thought was somebody got killed by a spoiler, like off the back of a Honda Civic.
A spoiler of a car. I thought you meant like they were so shocked that someone spoiled this for them.
You're telling me Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield came back and yes, I could see that absolutely happening to the wrong person.
Absolutely.
But no, spoiler alert. Okay,
Yeah.
I would.
What do you
Yeah,
think?
maybe. maybe somebody got some information before they were supposed to, and maybe somebody else thought they needed to keep that person quiet before they spoiled that information for others.
Okay. All right. Good guess. Good
That would be my guess. Maybe somebody had to, keep a lid on some spoilers.
Yeah.
So to speak.
That's a pretty good guess. I think it's a little more comical than that. I think you're gonna.
Oh damn it! Was it the first one? Was it the Civic?
It was not the Civic. Spoiler. I don't think they have Hondas in Antarctica. I don't know.
It's more of an accurate.
They
country.
could probably make it though.
Probably.
They'd be fine. But in 2018, there was a Russian engineer, Sergei Savitsky, who was living at the research base. I'm going to do my best here. Bellinghausen Station. Bellingshausen.
Bellingshausen. Yeah.
Yeah, and that is on King George Island in Antarctica. Now, Savitsky, who was 54, had apparently snapped and stabbed his colleague Oleg Belugazov.
Yeah.
That's
Oleg.
a tough one. Yeah, we'll call him Oleg. He stabbed his colleague Oleg, who was 52, with a kitchen knife multiple times.
Okay.
Yeah, so the Chilean news outlet T13 reported that what was his name here? Oleg, I'm sorry, was evacuated to the Magellan's Clinical Hospital where he underwent surgery and was discharged 2 weeks later. So this Chilean hospital was the closest one.
Okay.
Okay, so he was okay. He did live, okay? And the incident was allegedly and kind of officially labeled as one that was fueled by tensions in a confined space.
Yeah, I'm sure that's probably like the most common like arguments and fights are literally just because people are so isolated and confined.
Yes.
That they just become enraged with one another.
And it's a little bit more than that, okay? Not just a confined space. You got to think this space is also cold, inhospitable, inaccessible, and pretty dark most of the time.
Yeah.
90% of the time, pretty fucking dark. And you can't leave.
Yeah,
That's the worst part. There's
you can't
no
just
escape.
walk outside.
No. You can't be like, you know what? I'm taking a sick day. I'm going home. I got to get away from you people. No, you couldn't do that. And in winter, these bases are often entirely cut off for months with no access by air or sea, period.
So yeah, you are just stuck there.
Exactly. But still, something apart from these extreme conditions really sent Savitsky over the edge. According to some sources, the attack occurred because Oleg was giving away the endings of books that Savitsky was reading.
Oh my God, yes, absolutely.
It's right. It's justified almost.
This is at this
you
point.
do not
yes.
do this.
Okay, you know what? I
You
don't
son of
like
a
to
bitch.
condone. I don't like to condone violence. But at this point, you know what?
I'm telling you. I'm telling you.
Spoilers ahead, people.
Right,
Listen.
spoilers ahead. Like, what the hell? These guys were both avid readers, okay? Now, there was another source that says the attack happened in the dining room while Oleg was teasing Savitsky, telling him that he should dance on top of the table for money.
Oh my God!
Now, it could be a compilation of these.
Yeah, I feel like this is just two. This is just two men who have been, like I said, isolated together. Like basically,
They've been around each other too much.
Yeah, there's no. When people are in these confined spaces for so long, it's like prison. It is literally like being stuck with your cellmate almost.
Yeah.
And they have to these people have to undergo psychological training to be in these isolated conditions for so long.
Absolutely.
Like they have to be prepped for this because it's not like going to work or just going to go camp for a few weeks.
Not
you
at
are
all.
alone. Like you are isolated in the most dangerous country known to man.
Exactly.
So
And now something we do know, now whether it happened over the book thing or whether it happened over the dancing on the table thing, whatever was the final straw, I think both of these things happened. Okay. And also for both events, both accounts say that Savitsky, the perpetrator, was drunk at the time, was heavily intoxicated. I mean, what else did they have to do up there, right?
yeah.
But it was known that both men were avid readers. They did both love books. And they would pass the long nights by reading books. But Savitsky gave himself up to the station commander and was then forced to live in the base's Russian Orthodox Church for 10 days. This is what I was talking about earlier, until they could finally fly him back to Russia for trial.
Yeah, I believe.
Yeah. And honestly, he kind of got a slap on the wrist for this. He really did. They kind of understood. The Russians are a little more understanding in this, I guess, because they spend so much time in the extreme conditions. I guess they're a little more understanding, even though you would think they would be really tough on it, right? You would think they'd be like, "No, you do not stab, no matter what. Do not stab your own comrade."
I feel like
piece
it's
of shit.
I feel like it's the opposite way. It's like, listen, how many times you stab?
two?
Only two stab. Only two
Only
stab.
two
Is fine.
stab.
He's fine. Look, he's fine.
Who not been stabbed 2 times? Look at my chest.
Look at my chest. Who's not been stabbed
My
at least
stomach.
2 times?
Stabbed 5 times before 10. No big deal.
Like he's fine. Look, he go back to work on Tuesday. He's fine. Like that's
I mean, that's basically how they did. And two, you know, he lived.
Yeah,
he did live, and Oleg forgave him.
They are
for all
very
that shit. Like they got over it. They really it was basically just a really bad bro fight.
I feel like the people who live in these situations, they're very understanding of this, and the people who send them to live in these situations,
Yeah.
they all understand that it's like it's not going to be easy. You guys are going to be at each other's throats sometimes, and like
Yeah.
hopefully you don't kill each other.
Hopefully.
Yeah, so like
Hopefully.
do your best.
Yeah.
If you do,
That sucks.
let us know.
No, don't do that.
We will try and get a replacement out there. Springtime? I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know. When can the planes fly out
Yeah,
there?
we'll do our best.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, that's pretty much all we know about that case. That is the problem with a lot of these Antarctica cases is a lot of it is kept under wraps or it's just kind of pushed under the rug because it's like just those very few people at the base were affected. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So
And
here's...
you got to think, too, since there's no real police force, there's no real policing or any kind of procedures that are done.
Right.
You don't have anybody properly documenting everything as it was like a police report when it happened.
No.
You don't have people like the people being like, okay, you know, victim 1 was here. They don't have like people like diagramming things. And
it's just the commander is probably taking statements and kind of holding his own little court. But other than that, there's really nothing official.
Yeah, it's a lot of
like
just
you say,
he said, she said, and we'll like were you there? Was
absolutely.
anybody there?
And
Do we have
then
anybody?
so much time passes before these guys actually go to court that it kind of doesn't seem as bad.
Yeah.
You know, I think 10 months later, after a guy survives from a stab, 10 months later, he's perfectly fucking fine.
Yeah.
He's going back to his normal life. You guys are probably having coffee together. You're talking in the break room. You're joking about it. And now you got to go to trial?
Yeah.
Nah, it's not. They're not going to hit you with it like they would fresh.
Yeah. And like you said too, after these events are so isolated too that when somebody has one of these explosive moments, it does like it's like a release. It is like a major release of all this built up tension that they've had, and it's they almost all kind of understand it. It's very much like, I don't want to say this is like a toxic thing, but it's like when two dudes just like are getting frustrated with one another for so long, and then they just kind of like have it out with like a wrestling match.
That's what I was saying. Like,
scuffle.
this is a really intense bro fight.
Yeah,
Usually,
and then-
everybody's done this with close friends. You spend too much time around. You get into a like you said, a wrestling match, a grapple, whatever. You get on the ground, you fucking roll around. One pins the other. You're like, okay, I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm good. Leave me the fuck alone. Like, but it just went too far, and you know, under the tensions, everybody was kind of understanding about it. Now, I know it sucks that we don't have more information. I wish there was more of like a lead up to this. Like, right? Like I wish there was more of Oleg teasing him every single day and we kind of saw this build up.
Yeah.
But we don't. But there is this podcast or this show, it's probably most of you are familiar with. Even I was. But it's called This American Life. Have you heard you listen to that ever?
I've heard of it. I never actually listened to it though. Yes.
So they have a series. It's titled something about the devil, but it's number 666. Okay, it's a series, but volume 3 is a short story based on this exact case. It's a fiction. It's kind of like what we do in Sandu Stories.
Okay.
But it's just one person basically telling you this story that they have embellished, and it's this story.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. So that was kind of interesting. It kind of gets your imagination going a little bit. You know, it's but it's very well received. I found it on Reddit. People on Reddit absolutely love it. Like, oh my God. They're like, this is one of the best retellings of the story I've ever heard. Like, and of course, like I said, a lot of it's embellished. It is a little Hollywood, but it's super fun listen if you guys want to check it out.
Okay.
All right. But on to the next case, Andy.
Okay. No more spoilers.
No more spoilers, okay? This one's called Checkmate.
Oh, I feel like this one's like I'm going to go ahead and say like this was just two people who got like in a competitive chess like tournament back and forth until one of them finally snapped over losing too many times, or accused of cheating or something. This is just two people just getting very violently angry about a game of chess.
And to throw things way out of order, I don't have these going backwards. I lied. This one happened in 1959. So imagine what little you had to do in 1959.
Yeah, in Antarctica.
Right? No Wi-Fi.
Nope.
There's no Wi-Fi in 1959. Chess is all you have, goddammit.
No YouTube Shorts? God damn it.
No. This happened also in one of Russia's stations. It was Russia's Vostok station, one of the most isolated bases on the continent. Also in this area, it happens to have the lowest natural temperature on Earth, Andy.
Jesus.
Just a little negative 128.6 degrees Fahrenheit.
Fuck me.
Negative 128, Andy. I don't want to be 128 positive or negative.
No. The fact that it goes down there, I feel like that's one of those things where it's like, I feel like somebody looked at that and was
Why
like,
does it go that far?
yeah, we shouldn't be there. It's like the bottom of the ocean where somebody looked at that
Right.
and was like, we should go down there. No, we fucking shouldn't.
Exactly.
It's a negative 128 degrees.
Yep. And for you Celsius
Let's go
people,
check it out.
that's negative 89.2 degrees Celsius.
Jesus Christ.
That's
like I said,
incredible. I'd be pissed just arriving.
Yeah.
As soon as I got there. Fuck this place.
I'd be pissed if somebody suggested it.
Why do I not? I don't own enough clothes to go to this place.
No.
I can't do it.
Not enough space heaters in the world.
I'm not built for it. But this was another worthy reason to kill Andy, and it was over chess.
Mm-hmm.
You know, chess can get a little dicey at times. But apparently, the loser of the game was upset enough to attack the winner with a fucking axe.
Jesus Christ. Yeah, this is also very Russian.
Yes. Most sources say that the man was killed, though some reports claim that he survived. But there is very little information about his survival or anything like that. This is one of the most covered up ones of all of them. I don't know why. Maybe just because it's so old.
It's peak Cold War times.
Yeah,
Russia is not letting information out at this point. They're
Right.
not trying to let people know that anything could go wrong in the great USSR. So
Yeah. But really, the only thing that came of this is that it's kind of shitty, but chess was banned at all Russian Antarctic stations.
that is very that is
I hope they also ban Monopoly.
that would be a better one to ban actually.
Yeah, ban
But
Monopoly.
I love how they were like, so he attacked him with axe, right? Well, we need axes.
Yeah.
So I mean, like, I guess no more chess. I
Yeah,
guess
no more chess. As simple as that.
What do you need an axe for here? Why do you have an axe at this Arctic research station?
I'm serious. Yeah.
It's like,
well, it's an ice axe. You know, you got to chop through ice sometimes. That's how it was labeled in a lot of the stories.
Okay, maybe like an ice pick type situation.
Probably, it's an axe that's probably a point on one side and then an axe blade on the other.
Okay,
You know?
I just like the idea of him just literally like looking at like the fire thing, like just like a fire axe
Yeah.
on the wall. Like, I'm gonna break that and kill you with it.
Yep.
It's like, why do we have an axe? There's no wood in this base. Like, this is all solid steel.
That's exactly right. Now, of course, you know, the violence aren't just limited to the Russian bases, Andy. You know, we got our own share of crime here in the American bases as well.
Oh, I'm sure we do. Absolutely.
Yeah, you know, the land of the free over here. Because there was a fight that broke out between two cooks at the American McMurdo station in 1996. According to the report, one attacked the other with a claw end of a hammer and then injured a third cook who was trying to break up the fight. Both of these cooks needed stitches, but made full recoveries.
Yeah, I'm
Again,
sure.
I mean, getting hit with a claw hammer, dude, and living.
Dude, my dad was hit in the face with a claw hammer as a kid,
Oof.
like right across the bridge of the nose, like the
Yeah.
back of the hammer stuck like right in the bridge of his nose.
Oof.
His little brother hit him in the face with one. They were
Shit.
playing like back in the 40s
Yeah.
or 50s. They were playing Cowboys and Indians,
Right.
and his brother was using a hammer as like a tomahawk.
Hell yeah, he got
And
him.
just clocked him right in the fucking
He
nose.
said, get some of that, bitch.
And fucking ow!
He's over there with his plastic cowboy gun. Motherfucker.
Yes, those were caps, bitch.
Damn it. But yeah, I put these two together because there's not a lot of information on these, and they're both extremely violent attacks with pretty serious weapons. But as far as we know, both of the people with, like I said, with the claw hammer attacked. And this time the attacker wasn't sent to live with the priest in the church, but he was instead held in custody and watched 24 hours until the FBI agents were sent to investigate. And this is one of the very few times FBI was even sent to Antarctica. There's you probably count on one hand.
Yeah.
It's not that many.
Yeah, because you would have to send federal police
You
because
have to.
there's no state police, there's no any other kind of like jurisdiction. You would have to
Exactly.
send a federal officer
Right,
to
imagine
do these
getting
like,
that-
investigations.
Imagine getting that order as an FBI agent. Like, really? I got to go to Antarctica for two
Really?
people who survived a fucking clawhammer attack?
Just can you fucking bring him here?
Right.
Can we Skype this?
Seriously.
Like,
But yeah, the FBI was also called in for another case, the mysterious case of Rodney Marks.
Okay.
Okay, which I have lovingly labeled methanol mystery.
Methanol. Okay, what is methanol? That's not the thing they make. That's not from Breaking Bad. That's methylamine. Oh damn it! What is this?
Methanol mystery.
Oh my god! If I was more familiar with what methanol is,
Yeah.
I want to say something about. I want to say this stemmed from farts. Like, or no, that's methane.
Yes,
that's
somebody
methane.
was
Damn
farting
it.
so much they killed him.
Yes, this was a silent but deadly situation.
Oh, even better name.
Exactly.
If that's what it was. No, great guess, Andy. But in May of 2000, the 32-year-old Australian astrophysicist was stationed at the Amundsen South Pole Base when he got sick, and he was reported to have seen the station doctor suffering from a fever, nausea, and stomach pains, and the very next day, he was dead. Okay. Mark's body was kept in a freezer for 6 months because they didn't know what to do with him because it was the winter until the summer when it warmed up.
And sit him outside?
I know, right?
Why'd you put a freezer?
I guess they thought that was,
I know. I guess it's
disrespectful.
Inhumane. There's polar
He could be
bears out
covered
there.
in snow. He'll be eaten. Yeah.
I just love the idea. It's like, well, we could put him in the freezer where we keep all of our food. Or I mean,
we could.
Does anybody have an objection?
Well, see, in Mark's case in particular, everyone was kind of curious, unless someone poisoned him.
Yeah.
But we'll get into that. But yeah, he was a New Zealand resident, and it would be 6 months until he could be transferred back to Christchurch, New Zealand for an autopsy. Okay. And the American National Science Foundation, which operates the base, said Marks had apparently died of natural causes, but the post-mortem results told a very different story. Officials were shocked when it was discovered the recently engaged scientist had been poisoned with methanol.
I was thinking about that. If you did freeze the body like thoroughly enough,
It's
it
okay.
would preserve any kind of like stasis
Chemicals, yes.
chemicals in the body. They would not decompose. So
Exactly. Now, that's something to remember. He was recently engaged. So,
Okay.
some people throw around the suicide thing, but that kind of throws some credit off of that. Wouldn't you
Yeah.
say? I mean, I'm not thinking suicide if you just got engaged, unless you're trying to figure out a way out of it.
yeah,
Jesus.
But also for suicide,
It's like you live in Antarctica. Can't you just call her up and be like, I can't?
Yeah, most people don't poison themselves for suicide and then
No.
also go to the doctor after it.
Facts.
So to say that you're feeling sick and you don't know what's happening,
Yep.
yeah, it kind of throws a
So-
little wrench in that.
Exactly. And something else that threw a wrench in this, Andy, was something you mentioned at the beginning of the show. This is interesting because Antarctica's administration, it meant that New Zealand, they claimed the territory that the base was located on. So it's their territory, but Marks was an American working
yeah.
there. Okay? So it's kind of tricky. So both countries were involved in this investigation. And they were curious. Like, there was only 49 other people at the station, and apparently no one knew what happened to Marks.
Really?
No one helped, or no one knew. I don't know. So either someone got away with fucking murder, or I don't know. Maybe everyone hated this guy. Maybe he was a douche. Like the Ken McElroy episode.
Yeah.
The Sundown Town or not Sundown Town. What'd they call it?
Snowtown Murders or no?
No, it's oh my god, I can't remember. In Broad Daylight or something.
Yeah,
I think
I
is
know what
what
you're
we
talking
called
about.
it. And I think there's a documentary or a movie that's called In Broad Daylight or something about Rex McElroy, and the whole town fucking hated him. He was a big old bully, and they finally had enough of him. They shot him dead in the fucking street, and nobody ratted. And this could have been this. Maybe this guy was busting up the Harmony. One person among 50 people can really fuck shit up.
And people can turn real quickly. They can.
Yeah.
People can. There's a lot of alliances get formed. Like it is like a fucking episode of Survivor where people literally start they form cliques, they form little groups, they get very divisive around those people. It's like you would hope that everybody comes together as a community and they all lean on each other to survive. But a lot of times human nature takes over and people start becoming paranoid and angry and defensive.
Yes. And you know what, too? When a bunch of humans are forced to be together in an area, it's not people that you're related to. It's not people that you call friends or whatever.
That you would choose to be with.
Exactly. When you're forced to be together, I feel like, and this is so primal, but just like chickens, just like goats, dogs, anything, there's a pecking order. And there's always someone who ends up being the person who's picked on, the person who's maybe the butt of the joke, the person who always gets the short end of the stick or whatever, because everybody kind of teams up on them. They're not cool or whatever it is, right? They lose the popularity contest. I'm just totally spitballing here. Maybe Marks was that guy, right? Maybe they kind of isolated Marks or whatever, and he felt like, fuck it, these people aren't going to like me anyway. So he adopted the role of the troll.
Yep.
Because he had nothing else. It's like, you guys made me this, and they were like, well, let's fucking get rid of him.
Very much could. Like I said,
it could have. Now, the main theory is still that he consumed it somehow accidentally. Unknowingly, whatever. Because, most of the time when people consume methanol, it's for an alcohol substitute or it's for suicide. That's pretty much the only two reasons people knowingly consume methanol.
Okay, so like somebody who's just trying to get drunk and they don't realize they're not.
Exactly.
It's poisonous.
Exactly.
Okay.
Or they took too much, whatever.
Gotcha.
And also, Marx's family has really given up hope of finding out what happened to him, claiming that any further attempts would just be a fruitless exercise. I mean, if one of those 49 people doesn't come forward or say anything, what do you do, Andy?
Yeah, there's no cameras. There's no evidence. There's nothing there to go back and look at or to analyze. It's just, like I said before, it's a he said, she said situation. And if nobody's saying anything, then this man died.
Exactly.
That's all we know.
And we'll never know. We'll never know for sure really what happened to Marks. It's probably one of the oddest cases here. It's like, what, did it have something to do with the way he was storing his food? Maybe a container he was eating out of? Like, who knows, man? Maybe he had a coffee cup that freaking was lined with something that had method. I don't know, man. I'm just spitballing here. But I just don't think a freaking scientist accidentally takes methanol. You know what I mean? I think, like you said, and then he goes to the doctor too.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I feel like somebody was slipping it in his food or something.
Yeah, because I feel like a scientist, a research scientist who's educated enough, who's been selected to be here, would know. Like, I'm not going to drink. I wouldn't drink this purposefully. And if they did, and then they went to the doctor, they'd be like, I drank this. I was trying to get drunk. Like, am I sick from it? Like, what's happening?
Right. Also, I mean, like they don't have alcohol on this research base. Come on,
they fucking got alcohol.
You're stuck up there forever. They have alcohol.
If not, go find the Russians. They've got alcohol up there.
Exactly. But in the case of Marks, I guess we'll really never know for sure. But we do know what happened at the Argentine Antarctic base, Almirante Brown, in 1984.
Oh, okay. What happened here,
I have
Michael?
labeled this case Hothead.
Hothead. Oh, geez. Did somebody light somebody on fire? I want to say somebody literally lit somebody on fire in their sleep.
You were so close, Andy.
That's what that would be my assumption, is somebody lit somebody on fire while they were asleep.
Very close. Very close. But it was another man pushed to his wit's end, of course, furious at being ordered to spend another winter at the base when they were supposed to go home.
Ooh, okay.
So the resident doctor ensured he and his colleagues would instead be taken home on the next ship of the season. How was he going to guarantee that, you ask? He was going to burn the whole fucking station down, Andy.
That's one way to do it.
Yes.
You can't leave me here if there's no here.
There's no fucking station.
Yeah.
We have to go home. And honestly, this may be one of the shortest cases we ever covered on the show. That's pretty much it. 30-second crime. Everybody.
I love that notion. That is a very baller move, just to be like, oh, you want us all to stay here for another season?
Yes.
Chink.
Yes. Exactly.
Just opens lighter.
Yeah,
I'm gonna burn this motherfucker down.
1984, man. He was done with it, and he owned up to it. And honestly, it again, another slap on the wrist. People kind of understood. They understood that everybody wanted to go home. No one was upset with him. You know what I mean? Like, they got to go home and not spend another fucking winter in Antarctica. They're from Argentina, for Christ's sakes.
I just love how
they don't want to be there.
The fact that they were like, well, we need you guys to stay again for the winter time. And this guy was like, the fuck we are. Nope. We're going on the last ship. We're going home. And
yeah.
Like, we would really like it if you guys stay. Well, I would really like it if you shut the fuck up. I burned this place down already. Yeah. Like, they could have left. So it's very obvious. Yeah. It's like they still left. There was still a ship for them to leave on, and they could have left, but they were trying to make them stay for another winter. Yeah, it's kind of a baller move. Just be like, I'm going to burn this motherfucker down.
Right? You stay warm while you wait, too.
Yeah.
You got a nice building to stand by.
Temporarily, we will be warm, okay?
The whole base keeps you nice and toasty. Emperor penguins are coming up there, warming their fins.
Yes.
Oof, appreciate you.
Polar bears up there. Got a fucking penguin on a stick, just roasting
penguin
it.
On a stick.
What's up?
A fish in an ice cube. They're just melting it.
Yeah.
Like, perfect. But yeah, man, the cold, the loneliness that people must feel up there, the isolation, the fucking monotony of the day to day. Like you can't even go to your favorite store. You can't even go to a restaurant, get a fucking sandwich, a cup of coffee.
Yep.
You know what I mean? It's tough, man.
Half the time, that's not even days. Like it's so much dark. It's so much nighttime where you don't you lose track of what day it is, and what time it is, and what month it is.
And you're in the same place with the same people day after day, man.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, where there's people, I don't care how remote, I don't care how vast, how frozen, deserted there, it will always be crime.
I mean, why would there not be? I mean, where there's smoke, there's fire. Where people exist, like I said, sometimes
there's conflict.
Sometimes human nature takes over, and human nature's not always pretty.
No. Well, I mean, there's not any species of anything that lives together without conflict.
No, not completely.
I mean, lion prides, they fight amongst each other.
Mm-hmm.
Coyotes, it's everything, man. And like I said earlier, there's always a pecking order. There's always somebody who feels left out, and if they have no one to share that loneliness with, that outcastness with, or whatever, then they'll snap. I feel like even the most sane person, even the most logical person can be driven to their wits' end in these conditions.
Oh, absolutely.
And I think that's why all these crimes are kind of dealt with a slap on the wrist or a warning or very short jail time, because they're understanding.
Yeah, they very much are.
Like you're in the harshest place on earth and you're researching for all of us. So yeah, have fun out there, I guess.
No, like I said, they have to train these people for these isolation stints. And they understand. The people who send them there understand that it's like this is not going to be an easy journey. This is not going to be an easy research trip. Do your best.
Yeah, do your best. You know what sucks? You can't ship Oh My Gaia up there.
I bet you probably could.
Or down there. You think you can?
I bet you might want to make sure you keep it somewhere where it's not just going to turn into a solid block of ice in your jar.
You gotta use an ice pick and a hammer to scrape it out for your armpits.
Right.
You gotta put it in the microwave for 10 seconds and then
you're
good to go.
You just gotta put the jar down your snow pants for a few minutes until everything warms up.
I'll have to talk to Wendy over there at Oh My Gaia and see if she can send some out to our researchers in Antarctica.
Yeah.
little get home soon gift.
Right.
Yeah. But Oh My Gaia is an innovative all-natural deodorant, fragrance, and beard oil company specializing in paraben and aluminum-free products. Their innovative line of deodorants inhibit the growth of odor-causing bacteria while maintaining effectiveness. And at Oh My Gaia, there's tons of scents to choose from, guys, like Egyptian musk, coconut, dreamsicle, leather, lumberjack, honeysuckle, fireside, bergamot, amber, pear, sweet pea, sailor, barbershop. We even have our own scent, True Crimepine, made just for the true crime guys. And there's many, many more to choose from at ohmygaia.com. That's OHMYGAIA.com. And you can check them out on Instagram at shop_ohmygaia for all kinds of deals and promotions going on. And because you're True Crime Guys listeners, you can use the word Crimepine for 15% off. That's CRIMEPINE for 15% off. No spaces in that word. Crimepine, all one word. It's probably one of my favorite code words we have yet.
Crimepine just seems like an evil tree for me.
Crimepine. Crimepine. Is that a crimepine?
I just imagine like a tree with like a robber mask on, like a little domino mask. Got a little money satchel.
We should make a little character, a little logo. We'll put them on hats or something.
Crimepine.
But yeah, guys, check it out. ohmygaia.com, OHMYGAIA.com. And code word Crimepine. It is linked right below the description of this episode. Get 15% off your order. We ain't doing that full price shit.
Never here.
In this freaking inflating economy.
This frozen wasteland we live in.
That's right. We've barely gone up on our prices. You can go on patreon.com. It's went up $1 whole.
We're like the Costco of
Can't
podcasts.
say that about eggs. Or anything.
No.
Or anything for that matter. But yes, patreon.com/truecrimeguys is the best way to support the show. We appreciate you guys' monthly patronage. It really helps us keep going and helps us do what we're doing here at True Crime Guys. And you can hear everything we've ever made on True Crime. Someone left a comment on Podbean asking where you could access old episodes. If you're looking for those are on Patreon as well. Check out the TCG Vault. All the way back to episode 1 is on there. Way back. Way back. So you guys can hear, like I said, literally everything we have ever created for $3 a month on Patreon. Well, $6 a month. I'm sorry. That's the big tier. That has all of our past content. But for $3 a month, you can get access to these episodes early, ad-free, with bonus content.
Yes, you can.
Every single week. All right, guys, but that's pretty much it. Make sure you give us a follow on social media at True Crime Guys. Make sure you check us out on Spotify as an artist, True Crime Guys. We've got some music and intros and things on there. And yeah, until next week, I guess you just have to keep on creeping, and we'll see you then. Right?
All right. Bye.